a lot of people out there are thinking that the government, maybe through the SEC, maybe through the Fed, or maybe the White House, okay, might jump in this whole thing when we do hit crazy numbers with AMC price and trying to stop it because they will say enough is enough, and maybe we'll get screwed in the process. Well, guys, let me address this in this video and I will give you my thoughts on this. Well, starting first, markets are supposed to be free. I'm using the word supposed purposely. Markets are supposed to be free, meaning the government, especially here in America, the government is really stepping out, okay, and leaving the markets regulate and being the market, okay, meaning that's the definition of capitalism, guys. That is the definition of capitalism that made this country what it is now, okay. And I bought the stock, okay, and because I bought the stock, I'm entitled to get my shares. And when I do sell my shares, I'm entitled to get the money at which the share price of the shares I bought or I'm now selling is worth. So if the government steps in, well, for me, it will create much more a headache, not only for the US, not only for the other agencies, but also for other countries making business with the US. Because guys, if you're stepping in for something that was supposed to be in between parties, we have agreements and everything, now you're sending a signal to the world that maybe the markets were not as free as you gave us impression. Maybe the markets are not that fair. That we already know, of course. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here on AMC with short squeeze. And maybe some people, some institutions that are really heavy and outside of the US as well, but with big money in the US markets, will pull out and they'll say, well, that is not fair. You're hurting our business. You're hurting, you're bringing down losses in our business. So maybe it's time for us to maybe cut ties. Okay, maybe other people will pull money out of the US markets and put it into other markets where other assets are being listed. Okay, well, I don't want to get into too much examples, but here's the idea. It will bring much more issues than solving the actual problem. Okay, and I think it may create collateral damages into the economy, into international business, international trade. Just because the Fed or the SEC or the government stepped in and said enough is enough, and they screwed the whole apes. Well, what is the likelihood from that happening? Well, I don't know, but I'm not that confident. I'm not sure. Okay, at least for the moment, I'm more like, no, they can do that. They cannot do that because it will hurt themselves in the process. Okay, well, in the meantime, if you think about what happened with Robinhood and led this whole thing from happening, they prevented people from buying the stock. If you told me 2 years ago, 10 years ago that we may have that happening in the stock market in the US, I would have told you you're crazy. But since the market told me and taught me how to never say never, especially with AMC stock, then I will say, well, if it does happen, then it will create much more issues, much more problems that are even bigger to just you and I, the apes. But will it screw us up? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't have all the answers for now, but just my 2 cents, guys. Okay, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and we'll take it from there. Thanks.